Is that you, Tommy Chong?
I like how we at least have a picture now, and it keeps going.
Yeah. Waiting to be added to the meeting. Did that go? Oh, there we go.
All right, Brian, what's up, dude? How's the Midwest treating you?
You know, getting dark at night.
Yeah, I have the Philips Hue light bulbs, and I have it set to turn on in the bedroom, like in the morning, to like slowly come on. And apparently the power went out last week, so it like messed up with the hue timing and everything. So they came on full brightness this morning at like 6:30, and I just like shot out of bed because I was like, WTF. But I was like, oh, it's nice and dark now. It used to be pretty bright in the morning, but winter's coming.
Yes. Although, how much winter do you get? You're California, or are you?
Yeah,
Portland?
no, we don't get much winter at all. I actually just bought a portable air conditioning unit because we're about to hit summer here. So it was 95 degrees in my apartment last week.
Woo.
Yeah, it's great. Lovely.
You guys have got it hard out there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Garrett, what's up, dude? Long time no chat.
Yeah, hey, how's it going? I missed the last one, I think. I was out of town.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries.
I like how you wore your puppet shirt for the salt working group. That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Little nostalgia
Actually,
there.
At least he's wearing a
Speaking of
shirt this
puppet,
week.
I found, I don't know if you guys were at SaltConf, not last year, I think it was like 2 years ago. I found this little sticker that was, it's backward. I think you get the gist.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that was the year that the marketing department decided to go edgy.
Yeah. No more of that.
Not so much.
Alrighty. Let's see here. Is anybody new? No new folks. Geez. Let's see here. Catalina's looking great, so that's cool. We'll just skip straight to that. Does anybody have anything they actually want to talk about?
I was just going to ask if that has that been officially released yet, or is that not yet?
No, October is what the
okay.
website says. So, yeah, I would expect maybe early October. I don't know.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, everything's running well. I'm going to try and open a pull request to add the disable keep alive. God, I think so we discovered that instead of actually modifying the code, like the minion code, there's a option you can pass it a parameter that's disable keep alive, which keeps it from running the minion in its own separate like multi-process. So it's more happy on Catalina. And then I talked with Thatch on, was that like last week or the week before, about during the, I think it was like a work group meeting thing, or just an open salt community meeting thing. I asked him about that, and he said that there was no reason to run macOS in that like nested multi-process, especially if LaunchD is capable of handling it. So, and then that was the correct move to make. So I'll make a PR. So that should keep people from running into issues, and there isn't actually a performance degradation or anything like that. So
nice. That's a good find.
Yeah. And then what else have I been working on? I've been working on making some major changes to the service modules. Because
Good.
yeah, it needs some love, especially for like really weird edge cases that I'm sure some of us find ourselves in with needing to modify certain launch daemons and making sure certain things are enabled versus disabled. So I'm like getting there. But the one thing I did want to ask folks is, how do we feel about handling if Salt needs to modify its own launch daemon?
For the minion, you mean?
For the minion, yeah. So right now, if you want Salt to modify its own like minion launch daemon, if you try and unload that, the minion will kill itself before it's capable of reloading it. So I thought I was cool. So I was like, I modified the restart execution module function to do a kickstart versus like a full unload and a full reload, which is like basically telling LaunchD, hey, kill this process and then like spawn it again. Except that doesn't pick up any changes in the actual launch daemon config. It only picks up changes after that. So if you modify like a minion config, like a minion configuration, then it'll handle that awesome. So it'll pick up those new configurations and like spawn the minion again with those configs. That works great, except if you want to modify the actual launch daemon. So it looks like Windows makes another service and then handles everything that way. I was wondering how we felt about that, if we should create it on the fly, have it do its thing, and then remove it, or yeah, that was about as far as I got. Or
Is
what
this
else?
for just? I'm just curious. Is this for actually using Salt to restart Salt, or is this using Salt to manage the service that's in place?
This would be if you wanted to use Salt to manage the launch daemon that manages Salt.
Oh, got it. Oh, I see. Okay.
So, which you shouldn't need to do, like hardly at all. But in this case, I noticed that like things weren't working properly whenever I tried to modify the launch daemon to add the -- keep alive flag to the minion process, and then that's when I noticed that like it wasn't working properly, and then I was like, oh, duh, you need to like unload it completely and reload it, not just kickstart it.
Got it.
But yeah, it looks like Windows makes a service and then that handles all of that. I didn't like read through the rest of the code to see what they do after that, but I figured we could probably mimic the same behavior. So
basically you're trying to reproduce, like if you wanted to do it basically, file.manage and service.restart would be how you'd manage that, right? Like if you were just using base Salt concepts.
yeah, so the idea would be,
you're saying you want to build that into the service module to handle that case.
so yeah, if you were, say we're like you were managing the launch daemon configuration somehow, and then you're managing the service of that with Salt, the idea would be for like, if that changes, you obviously want Salt to restart that launch daemon. Right now, it's not possible of doing that. So we'd probably have to make another launch daemon that would do that for us, if that makes sense. But yeah, that would be the normal Salt like config, how it looks. So I should have probably looked deeper into the Windows code before bringing this up. But I don't know if that was something we thought would be a good idea, bad idea, or do we even really care?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it seems like when you do need to do it, you need it.
Yeah.
And like you said, I don't think we anticipate ever needing to do it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems like, how do you want to spend your time? I can absolutely see a use for it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll look deeper through the Windows stuff and see exactly what's going on. And then so what I also noticed was interesting is that other platforms have they have like restart options on the service watch stuff. There's like full restart. There's actually, let me take a look at the
Reload,
Yeah, there's reload.
which I think only works on Linux, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't think that works on Windows.
I think Windows only has just the one. So there's what, reload versus full restart? By the looks of things here.
Which I
And
think
there's
is kind of like, you know, Nginx reload versus fully restarting the service. It's like look for new config type thing.
Yeah. So what I was thinking, and this would totally break the current workflow, is a reload would be like running launchctl kickstart, which is where you just want to, like, if the actual launch daemon isn't modified at all, then you can just run kickstart, and then that'll like pick up the other config changes for that service. Versus a full restart would be like a launchctl boot out and a bootstrap or an unload and a load. That would currently break how things currently work, just from a logical standpoint. But I was wondering if folks would find that useful.
So would that work for launch agents, or would they?
Yeah, it would work for everything.
Because the kickstart command needs the root context for launch daemon. That's system. What would it be for a launch agent? Would it be
It would be GUI / the UID of the GUI user / and then the label name.
So you'd need to know that somehow, or
So the beauty of it is all that code's already in there. Salt already knows how to like figure all that stuff out, because that's how it unloads and loads launch daemons now, and launch agents. So, and that was like the first thing I wrote like 2 years ago. That was lovely, because I was like, this doesn't work very well. Well, Salt couldn't manage launch agents at all. That was fun. But as of 2019 too, it does. But yeah, Shay, thoughts?
I mean, I think the thing I'm most interested in terms of the services module is really just the kind of broken functionality around the enabled status.
Yep.
So, I mean, I feel like that is something that is already a problem.
Oh yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering how that's, because you're working on that, right? Or have solved that already?
Yeah. So for that, in case anybody doesn't know, doing the enabled function in the Mac service module doesn't actually check to see if it's enabled. It checks to see if it's actually running. It basically does a launchctl list when it should be a not launchctl print disabled type thing. So that causes some issues if somebody say disables a service and you're trying to actually enable it. Salt doesn't enable it. So because it thinks it's not enabled, but then when it tries to do the enablement, it doesn't do that. Probably, maybe I'm completely wrong.
I think, yeah,
about
that
that
sounds
part.
right. I was gonna say the other part of it is that if you do service.running, one of the arguments to that is enabled, which I don't know why you would want to have it disabled, but enforce that it's running. But if you do have somebody go and disable the service, then when service.running comes through and is like, hey, this isn't running, let's try and start it up, it fails because the service is disabled. So even if
Yeah.
you say as an argument, I want this enabled and running, it tries to start it before it tries to enable it, and then it won't start if it's disabled.
Yeah. So I fixed that piece, not upstream, but like I already have that logic figured out. But the actual execution modules need to be fixed, which is where it does a list versus actually checking to see if it's enabled. And why that gets slightly confusing is because some of the other modules depend on that. So I was like going through and making sure like nothing broke. But
did you write any tests?
No, of course not, dude. Come on. Who do you think I am? I'm writing tests. Jeez. No, one will do that soon. Or I will ask you, kind Shay, to help me with said tests.
I'll teach you how to test. How about that?
That would be delightful, actually. Thank you. Speaking of tests, Garrett, how's the CI stuff going?
Really well, actually. Yeah, we had like a minor issue with the Mac so like all of our focus right now has been on 2019.2.1, trying to get that out the door. But we've been pretty much solid green for a couple weeks now. But we had one minor problem with the Mac test yesterday, but it looks like it's the host that they're running on that's the problem. So those are back to green again. And we've actually, I don't know how often you guys if you've ever looked at our Jenkins instance where we run the tests, but previous branches or before all of this effort, we were up at like on a regular basis, like 10 plus hours on the Mac tests. Yeah, it's crazy. But now we're down to like average like an hour and a half to 2 hours for them. So that's really good.
Awesome.
So that'll be really good going forward.
Yeah.
And we actually, one of the things that we switched to, we were using our own Mac Minis, which I think I mentioned before. We were using Mac Minis with Parallels. And we switched over to, I think, using Mac Stadium.
Nice.
So that's been a huge win for us.
So
it's helped out a lot.
I might be wrong about this, but I know at some point in the past, Mac Stadium used Salt to make sure that the Macs that they would be provisioning for you were configured properly and actually doing what they were supposed to do. So this is a little Inception like meta thing. That's kind of
interesting.
Cool. Yeah. I don't know if they're still doing that. Something somewhere. I think I heard Ansible. I don't know, but
okay.
Yeah. But
maybe they're using Salt to orchestrate Ansible.
Yeah, that would actually make sense, because we all know how bad that is.
So now you only need to bring up Chef now for your configuration management bingo card.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it's true.
Yeah, we'll have Salt orchestrate Ansible that then does like a hello world with Chef.
Lovely. So those so the Mac Stadium boxes that you're using, are they logged into a user, or are they like sitting at the login window?
That's a good question. I think I think they're logged. Well, yeah, I don't know. So the way it works, like it's working just like a regular like Jenkins slave.
Sure.
So it uses the Jenkins slave jar file. So I don't think it needs to be logged in for at least for our stuff to work. But I do remember you mentioning like some issues that you had found if you didn't have a user logged in for certain things.
Yeah. So in all the changes that I'm going through for the service module,
Yeah.
if you like checking to see if a service is enabled or disabled, if that is done at the login window and you're testing the launch agent, you will have a really hard time. It'll just trace back.
Okay.
So in the process of trying to write tests for that, that's why I was curious.
Well, actually, so where we run the tests, we don't run the tests on the hosts themselves. We run them inside VMs still, Parallels VMs. So
okay, sure.
There wouldn't be a user logged into those.
Okay.
Because it was brought up.
How hard would it be to do another set of tests that just runs on one that's actually logged in versus one that's like having two? Like one test for like a user logged in and then another test for a user not logged in. I think we could get some like really good tests written if that was the case. Unless I really don't know how.
Do you need it to actually be logged in, or can you just mock it?
That's actually probably a good point. I can probably just mock it. See, this is why I should write more tests. I would know how they work better.
I just patched that function in your brain.
You gonna write a test for it too, Betty?
I mean, you know, you have to. You don't always discover everything that way. I mean, for unit tests, that's probably fine. For integration tests, maybe not so much.
Yeah. Okay. Do we require both now for pull requests?
No.
No, just one or the other.
Just as long as there's tests.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
When you say just as long as there's tests, will you guys accept assert true?
Actual like tests that are actually obviously
I'm asking
testing
for a friend.
Yeah, asking
for a friend.
My stuff's all green right now, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
The software update.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that. So I noticed that in the last time I updated Catalina, the output from software update said action restart.
Mm-hmm.
But then after you installed it, the standard out was just like, this install requires a shutdown. And I was like, God damn it. So I talked with our our lovely friend the frog, and he was just like, yeah, because that command line tool doesn't know. It doesn't know that update requires a bridge OS until like you're actually running it, and then it sees that it needs to update the bridge OS, and then therefore you go down the decision tree of like shutdown versus restart. And I'm like, that's dumb. You should make it so it knows ahead of time so that we don't have to parse standard out whenever we want to do things. We can just know ahead of time.
I mean, I guess I don't know. Do you feel like that value is ever going to be super critical to your whatever you're going to do with it?
I mean, not
like shutdown versus restart.
Well, I mean, one leads to working, the one leads to not working. I mean, I'm not saying I'm ever really going to use Salt to install major updates like that, but
yeah,
somebody might. And I'm assuming, like,
I mean,
like,
I just think like if the software update tool says that it's restart and it ends up actually needing to be shut down, that's determined dynamically during the execution of that installer, like we can't really do any better.
yeah, I guess what we would have to do is just pass the -- restart flag, and then that'll handle it for you. If that makes sense.
If you're installing it.
Yeah. Actually, that's probably the move.
I haven't even gotten that far in the module. I was just fixing the parsing.
Yeah. Because if you're installing the update with Salt, and I'm assuming whenever you want to do it, you're just like, I don't care when, just do it now.
Just make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that, yeah, that seems like a detail that doesn't really matter. Like if you're saying this needs to be installed, just install it already.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not,
that sounds good.
I don't think there's a software update state that's called install when it's convenient for the currently logged in user. Right.
We can write one though.
Yeah. It like text messages them. Like, hey, I was wondering, are you going to be free this afternoon?
Can I update yet? Can I update yet? Can I update yet?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize you were on vacation.
Vacation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, that would be fun. Yeah, I saw you updated the linting stuff, right? For that pull request.
Yeah.
Are all the tests passing now?
Yeah.
Dope.
I mean, unless that output has changed, but we're kind of stuck just with what we can get out of our archaeological digs. Example output. It's a beautiful regular expression, though.
That's one way to put it, Betty. That is one way to put it. Still, every time I look at regex, I don't even know.
Well, so that, yeah, I mean, that does, once that gets merged, then the next step for me is to add, I have a Xcode command line tools module that can just be moved into that, write some tests for that, and just get that included. So we'd be able to do, I guess, software update dot, CLT tools installed or whatever.
Yeah,
handles all that.
That would be great.
The reason I bring that up is just I'm wondering, since you said you were going to, did you fix that call out to Git that happens that triggers the command line tools install?
No, I did not. But I know how to go about it now. So that's the good part. Basically checking to see what the path is. So Xcode select -P, check the path. If that returns anything other than a 0, then we know Git isn't installed. And
I think I used that in the command line tools thing.
Yeah. So yes, therefore we can fix that.
So you've got tests written for that. PRs
oh,
ready
absolutely.
to go.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Which one do you want first, the service module or the Git?
I mean, neither one of them is super big deal. The service one, I just, I've gone back through all my states and I've just said, every time that I have a service dot running, I have a state that runs before it that's service dot enabled. And
yeah. Did I?
It seems to solve it.
I thought I pushed a quick fix up to the community module, but I guess I didn't. That I could for sure do today. But making it nice and pretty to get it into core is probably another story. And writing tests.
What is the community module?
I pushed a patched version of the Mac service module to Mosen's repo.
Oh, okay. And it's just waiting in pull request hell for someone to merge it, or?
No, I think I just YOLO pushed it.
Oh, okay. I'll have to take a look at that. I mean, I can help
I-
you. That's the thing. I'm here for you, man. I
Yeah, I
can help
know.
you write tests.
Yeah, no, for me, it's literally just been actually real work stuff.
Well,
So-
sure. I imagine we're all like having so much fun making sure that all of our imposed upon us security products are going to work next month.
Yes.
So, I mean,
especially CrowdStrike.
this is
lovely.
by no means like this is what I do when I'm like at my daughter's ballet practice. Like it's not. I'm not doing this like at work all day long. It's
Oh,
not a
see, I
super
try
high
and do that.
priority.
I try and I try and have my employer pay me to work on on another company's product.
Oh, that's when I do on my Sal development, so that's good.
Oh yeah, that's fair. But what else was I? Oh, SaltConf, as this meeting is so well organized and so many things in a bullet pointed list to talk about. So fairly certain I'm going and talking. I know Brian got invited to talk. Any update on that?
We submitted a talk and it got accepted, but I need to get the company approval for it now. So
Cool.
basically, when it came up, the opportunity, my superiors were like, "Just submit it and we'll work it out." So now it's the work it out phase.
Yeah, tell that manager of yours that I met at that last conference that that Wes says that you should for sure go, and then I'm sure that'll work really well.
Wes approved.
Yeah. Hey, Wes approved this, so I booked it. I hope that's okay. I'm sure that'll work
My
well.
working group captain.
The working group captain. Gary, you gonna make it out this year to SaltConf?
Sorry, what? Oh yeah,
SaltConf?
yeah, I'll be there.
Nice.
What about
We can
Tommy
get-
Chong?
We can get drunk on High Lies again. That'll be great, or at least I will. And then people will be like, "Wait, you use macOS with Salt? That's weird." Look how far we've come. Look how far we've come. So beautiful.
Actually, there are a number of people like I think I've mentioned it a couple times that are really interested to hear about how you're using it or potentially using it. I guess you're not quite there yet.
MDM.
Like if you had like using it for like mobile devices.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure hypothetical. But I mean, the idea is sound. I mean, it's just a proxy minion. So
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that I actually would. That should be a work sanctioned Q4 OKR actually. So
Nice.
Getting that to work, mainly because Q4 is a joke at our company in terms of IT stuff. As in like nobody's around and it's like, yeah, we're not gonna work on anything important. Let's it's a fun quarter. So
Nice.
yay. Nice. Okay. I don't know. Anybody got anything else? Any issues? Do we talk about all the issues?
So is there anything that needs to be done for the 2.1 release, or is that kind of already out the door?
I would assume that we're a little too late to get anything in that cut for sure. But
Yeah, it's at this point it's mostly I think almost packaged. QA is just kind of running through some last testing on before it's released. And I think we're shooting for the next sometime like maybe the end of September to get that out the door.
well, Brian, what we might be able to do is see if we could squeeze in a pull request that signs the Python 2 and Python 3. in the packages,
Right.
since that's
Well,
actually
Python
not a core thing.
Python 2 will that still be included in 2.1?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
There'll still be
Okay.
Python 2 packages for that release. Undetermined. I guess it determines how quickly we get the next ones out, whether or not we'll have Python 2 packages.
I mean, is there any precedent for other bits of salt already being signed? Like for other OSs or anything else?
I think we might sign the Windows packages. I'm not 100% sure on that though.
Yeah, I mean, the Mac package is signed, but I don't know. Like, honestly, I really need to look into this more on how. I don't even really know if we need to sign the Python installed. What was your reasoning behind signing the actual Python, Ryan?
Because I was, a personal reason, I was piggybacking to use that Python 3 install to call a script that I needed to use for, that needed PPPC whitelisting.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, I would second that. I use the salt Python for lots of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, it's like
Well,
fairly
because
up
it's
to
not
date, and
signed, it would be one.
it comes with Objective-C. All right, cool. All right, so fine, we'll figure that one out.
In terms of,
Would you just need to sign the Python 3 binary?
right? Yeah.
Is
That's
that
all we're doing. That's all we're doing is signing that internally. But it'd be nice if it was just, handled. Because then you
that
could.
should be like a one-line addition into the shell script that builds that package.
Yeah.
Unless because you just need to sign
16 lines of tests.
I bet you there are 0 tests for that shell script. I can almost guarantee you. Can you write tests for shell scripts? Is that possible?
Exit 1, exit 0.
Yeah. Yeah. Asking for a friend. But nice.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool for a lot of reasons. But
Yeah, I don't see why we can't do that. Did you open an issue?
no, I did not. I certainly can.
Yeah, do that. And
Then you come in and save the day with the.
yeah, I feel like that's an easy win that I can probably do while having a beer at the bar. Where is packages? Package. And then maybe open a pull request to move from OS X to MacOS in the directory paths. No. Build sig. What is this? Signature? Sign package script. Oh. Security import. Oh yeah, sure. We can just add a line down here at the bottom. That should be easy peasy.
Cool. Well, I'll open an issue once I get off of this.
Yeah. I'll put it in the chat real quick. Where's this silly Zoom application? There it is. Zoom. I think that'll be the trick. Oh, where is the P12? Assign package name. No, anywho. Has anybody looked to see about whether or not you can still install things at the root of the drive on Catalina. I'm curious if we're going to get bitten by continuing to install it opt salt.
I haven't tried it, and the recent ones, you'll I don't know if you can hear my fan spinning, but I've been trying to build a Preview 8 VM here, and like the last release, I can't get it to actually make a VM, so I can't really say. I could go get a machine off the shelf like a savage, but
Dude, I think running a VM is like a savage, dude. Especially nowadays. Just like grab an actual machine, get that puppy going.
I guess.
I think that 11.5 update is supposed to come out on a Thursday, from what I heard, for Fusion.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
it'll just work correctly
VMware?
then.
That'd be cool.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been
I'll go
running
get
this
a machine.
Catalina hotness on my primary box for at least a month and a half now. That's how you find all the problems, boys. Just saying. But yeah, no, I think I need to try a tester machine and install it with an erase and install flag. It should boot it back through DEP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just got the installer, the Preview 8 installer this morning. I'll grab a machine. I'll do the erase install because I need to run it through our DEP process and make sure that it actually works.
Yeah.
I've been neglecting it to do other stuff, so I can jump on the salt thing and just say, hey, this seems like it works. Doesn't work. Let me take an action item.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Look at this professional meeting. We have action items, everyone. Who wants an action item? Anybody?
Apparently, my other action item is write your tests for you.
This is why this group's awesome. Look at this teamwork. Like you can't ask for anything more. I just, I think about all the problems, figure out ways to solve them, and then Shay writes a test for them. It's great. Teamwork.
What you could do for me?
And then Brian gives us more work.
and maybe Gareth knows the answer to this. I haven't searched real hard, but I'm just wondering like what whether there's a way to run salt code that you're working on. Like say, for example, I'm working on a module PR to the main modules. How can I run that so that I can run it in the debugger? Because for the most part, like Salt just runs it. It'll time out pretty quickly when it hits the debugger prompt and just be like, nope, moving on.
Oh, so you want to be able to like run it and then have it stop at a point and then we'd be able to get it.
If I throw a breakpoint in, or just have it, run till an exception, and then just want to run it in the REPL.
So I've had really good luck using PUDB for that, and setting it up like setting it up where it like hits the point, and then you basically telnet into the debugger. You right at that spot where you set it, and then you can just run through, looking all the basically stepping through the code, looking at the variables, etc.
So Salt won't like tear it down after it times out after like some number of milliseconds of not doing anything, or
no, because at that point it's PUDB that's taken over.
Okay.
The PUDB is like kind of the shepherd between you and Salt.
Okay. Because that's always the problem is like you can't just run the modules because there's such an involved import process to run Salt call or whatever. That could work.
Yeah, PUDB is really good for that scenario, especially if you're trying to debug something like inside the menu or inside the master where.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a lot of times where it's just like, I don't, this isn't my full-time job, so I'm not super familiar with the architecture. And you're like, I don't even know what's available at this point.
Right.
All right, cool. Yeah, that would be super helpful. On it.
Like
Speaking
this.
of like a savage, I've just had to like, write out, like do a ton of introspection in a, exception handler and like dump everything out to, text stream. So being able to actually interact with the debugger would be dope.
You're doing the Lord's work over there, Shake Rig. Doing the Lord's work. Well, anybody else got anything? Get a few minutes back, maybe? Last call.
I mean,
Tommy John?
do we anticipate any other Catalina issues? Nothing's going to change in the near future. You've run your whole pile of states against it.
Oh, yeah. I
Do
mean,
you need anything? I mean, do you want to look at that Pi Objective-C at some point with the updates? I don't know that I certainly don't use all the little fringe parts of Pi Objective-C, but
yeah, so what I was thinking is well, the current one works. If you want to provide the newest one yourself, you can. You just do a little pip state, and then you can get the latest yourself. Should we update the version for Neon? I'm assuming Neon's not going to ship till closer towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. Is that a yeah? That's a yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I've heard December is like our hope of when to get it out by.
Okay. I don't know. What are your thoughts? You want is there something in the newer version that that you need, or was it just hey, there's a newer version?
yeah, just more of a. I knew that it had been updated for a lot of stuff, and I haven't looked into it personally, but I just didn't know the maintenance window on Pi Objective-C if this group owns that or if it's.
I mean, I would say so. I clearly not. I can't say for certain. But granted, it only works on macOS. Then I would say this group has a pretty big.
Do you have any idea of like how much Pi Objective-C code there is in Salt? I mean, is it pretty much all stuff that you wrote?
There is none in the core right now.
Okay. Mac Services doesn't use it at all. It's all like shelling out to launch Cuddle.
If you can figure out a way to use Pi Objective-C to interact with the services modules, then that would be cool.
I mean, this should be possible, right?
Last time I talked with Mo's, and they were all private APIs.
That doesn't mean anything.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, sure. Let's throw some undocumented code in there, buddy. Why not? What could go wrong?
I mean,
it's kind of like that Wi-Fi module I have already. That's for sure using some undocumented APIs.
Is it?
Yeah. For the enabling and disabling piece.
Interesting. Well, yeah. So like Yo uses an undocumented API. I mean, it's not like they're going to slap your wrist for using it. I mean, I could see a future where they do only allow things that are signed by Apple to use it, but that's not, as far as I can tell, that's not happening right now.
So currently,
I mean, the whole reason I bring it up is just like, I think the balance between like trying to track with what Pi Objective-C is doing seems to outweigh the fact that we might break all of the 0 lines of code that use Pi Objective-C in the main Salt.
Yeah. Agreed.
So the only Objective C is in the Mosin repo?
Yep.
Okay.
That was a very selfish ask to have that included in the package for 2019 too, just so it was there so we could use it.
Well, we can start using it. I mean,
yeah, no, that's the, now that we, so my main concern was whether or not we can actually put like PyObjective-C code in the core library because of Catalina and the issues that we were having. But now that we've solved all of that, then I think we can start putting some of that good stuff in there. Especially like the preferences, and I think the big things that should go into core as quickly as possible would be preferences and p-lists.
Yeah, because it sounds like, I mean, just from like the Salt Slack in Mac admins, you know, there's still some confusion about like, oh, let me just use this p-list module. Yeah.
Like, no, p-lists are not preferences and preferences are not p-lists. They're different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I don't think for the p-list stuff, I don't think there's any need to well, I mean, I guess like, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. If is there a need to use any PyObjective-C code in modifying p-lists in Python 3 since
Just
it handles
yeah, if you just want to give yourself a really hard time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was going to say, I don't think there's really
to write in
Yeah.
Python 3.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would have to argue, like, what do you even need a plist module for? I'm sure there are legitimate reasons, but like, I don't have anything that is not a preference that is stored in plist format that I need to manipulate.
So I launch statements, bro.
I use it for local only manifest for Monkey,
There you go.
just plist.
Yeah.
Do you? I'll be really interested to hear. We don't have to talk about it now, but I'm really interested to hear how you use that, because that's something that I've always, like, all the configuration management people have talked about, like, you know, all the chef guys, all the Puppet guys. They're like, oh yeah, local only manifest in Monkey, and I haven't really seen how people are using it that it makes a whole lot of sense to me. So I'm excited to hear about that.
So
go
we're
ahead,
just
Brian.
testing it. We're just testing it right now. We're trying to test an approach if we go with individual or if we do local only. But the idea is that you could pull some kind of determination of whether a user is going to qualify for a package. So in our case, it could be a output from part of the reason why I wanted Python 3 signed was we call Enterprise Connect's ECCL binary and dump user group data from AD. And then I can tell if somebody has an entitlement there. And then if that entitlement is in that grain, then they get a package. So like if maybe they have to pay for a package, then they would get that scoped out to be installed. That's really what it is.
Does it make more sense for you guys to do it that way versus just adding it as a managed install to a manifest on the Monkey repo? Or as
the whole desire there was to avoid individual manifests per machine.
Okay.
But I don't know if we're going to get away from that or not. That seems to be the recommended way to do it, but it seems like I'd have to have a ingress for when a machine comes into inventory and it hits like our system, then I have to create I already have manifests created with like a CI/CD pipeline, but I'd have to like integrate with ServiceNow or something.
Right.
Doable. I just haven't done it.
Yeah,
well, no, that's a good argument. Like, everything I've heard so far has been like, well, you know, like, what if you want to make Atom available? I'm like, why do you need to restrict that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cool trick, but I've never seen anything that's like actually been super useful. But that makes sense. So to bring it back to we can talk about this more in the Slack because I am very interested in it. But the reason I bring it up about the plist thing is, you know, okay, so those sound like legitimate reasons why you would need to have a plist salt module. Do you care that it can handle binary plists? Because you shouldn't be doing preference management with the plist module. preferences are going to be automatically converted to binary plist format for the artifact that's on disk. But like none of the monkey manifests get converted to binary unless some weirdo goes through and converts them all to save like 10 bytes of storage space on the device.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can't the salt
Python,
module?
like the Python plist lib module handles those just fine
Right.
on both Pi2 and 3.
Aren't there some system launch daemons that are binary?
Maybe.
I guess we could put a debug log in there to see wherever your exception gets caught and then tries to convert it over for the Pi2 so it can read it. But
So I guess I don't care for my use, but like you said, the Python plist module handles it anyways.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I mean, the Python 3 plist module will handle the binary ones. Python 2 is not going to be around, hopefully, that much longer. So I don't feel super bad about throwing the Python 2 folks under the bus.
yeah. I tell you what, though, Brian. What I'm going to try and do this week, and then I'm going to beg pretty please, is I'm going to try and add that single line into the launch daemon for 2019 2.1, and then see if we can sign the package. And then I will get down on my hands and knees to see if we can get that merged in.
sweet. I opened an issue for you, so you got that out there.
Perfect. All right. That sounds delightful. Because I think we could treat, or how I'm going to say that is that these are like two things to basically get salt ready for Catalina, which this will probably be the last release before Catalina comes out.
Yeah, and I mean, would this be a requirement if we wanted to notarize? You need those to be signed, or is that a package level thing?
So notarization is not technically required because nobody's really downloading this manually and trying to run like a .app. Does that make sense? Salt's not really like an app, so you're not trying to like open it after downloading it from the internet.
Well, I know what the current status is. I'm saying, like, in the future, do you think it's going to go down the path where code executed need to be signed and maybe packages need to be notarized, even if it's command line? Because right now there's that gap there.
Yeah. As an administrator and an engineer that works on macOS, I don't want that to happen. But as somebody who really enjoys having less shitty malware run on a computer, I would think that's fantastic. So I hope they do it, to be honest. It'll cause a shit ton of pain, but
yeah, I mean, it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, but the state is now we don't need it to be notarized right now, but that might change in the near future. It also won't be that many extra steps in the whatever like shell script they build the package with, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
like
it would just be in
3
there.
lines.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. All right, cool.
And we could always like staple it ourselves even if we had to.
Sure.
Before we deploy it.
Yeah, if you need to. But, it would be nice if it came like that from the repo. So that way all the auto package hotness just works. Who's using that sweet recipe, by the way? Anybody? No? No? Does nobody install Salt with Monkey? Nobody? Okay.
I have it. I just don't have it set to automatically run because I want that package controlled. So
it's understandable. Well, everyone, I believe we are out of times. So, all right. We'll see if we can get this moving. Good chatting, everybody. And we will see you in 1 month's time, if not on the internet beforehand.
If we make it that far into Catalina land.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, everyone. Have a good one.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Catch you later.